They laughed at humanity's fleet, right up until the moment space itself began to scream. No warning. No heroic speech. Just a quiet shift in gravity that made alien commanders lean forward in confusion. The human ships, old and scarred, had been silent for hours. Then something inside them woke up. And the galaxy realized, far too late, that it had made a terrible mistake. The chamber of unified species floated above the gas giant relos like a crown of light. Thousands of alien representatives watched the same tactical projection, their voices filling the chamber with fear and disbelief. Entire star systems were going dark. Civilizations older than Earth were vanishing in hours. The threat had no name. No known origin. The invaders arrived, erased everything, and moved on. Supreme Strategist Olerix of the Velth Dominion struck the crystal floor with one of his many limbs. His voice echoed sharply. We have lost 7 sectors. Our weapons are ineffective. Our shields collapse within minutes. Murmurs spread through the chamber. The Kepri Hive had lost 2 queens. The Auralese Choir had lost their home star. The Iron Synod had lost entire Forge worlds. And now the invaders were approaching Sol. Human space is next, said Admiral Threx of the Seraphic Armada, his wings folded tightly. Their system lies directly in the invasion path. A soft ripple of amusement passed through several delegations. Humans. A young species. Loud. Emotional. Still using kinetic weapons. Still relying on thick armor instead of elegant energy manipulation. Ambassador Elias Ward of Earth stood alone at the edge of the chamber. He did not interrupt. He had learned long ago that when aliens laughed, it was better to let them finish. Supreme Strategist Olerix finally noticed him. Ambassador Ward, he said, amusement flickering through his compound eyes. Earth is, how shall I say this, brave to remain here. Ward nodded politely. We go where the danger is. A few delegates chuckled. Admiral Threx tilted his head. Tell us, Ambassador, what does humanity offer? Your ships are historic. The projection shifted. A visual of the human fleet appeared. 73 vessels. Huge. Boxy. Dark. No glowing hulls. No energy wings. No aesthetic symmetry. Just layered armor, protruding weapon mounts, and burn scars from old wars. Several delegates openly laughed. Those are warships, one asked. They look unfinished, said another. Their designs are inefficient by at least 12 metrics, stated a machine intelligence calmly. Ward did not smile. They are finished. That's why they look like that. Olerix waved dismissively. Very well. Humanity may defend Sol if it wishes. The unified fleet will engage the invaders at the outer edge of your system. Try not to interfere. The chamber moved on. No one asked if humans were afraid. No one asked how long they had been preparing. Captain Mara Ionescu stood on the bridge of the HSS Resolute, staring at a tactical display filled with red warnings. She was not young. Not legendary. Just experienced. Her ship was older than some alien civilizations. Status, she said calmly. Fleet is in position, replied Commander Jax Holt. All reactors stable. Kinetic batteries loaded. Missile bays sealed. The bridge was nothing like alien command centers. No floating holograms. No glowing floors. Just metal, cables, physical controls, and backup systems stacked on backup systems. Everything built to survive damage. They think we're relics, Holt said quietly. Ionescu nodded. Good. Across the Sol system, the human fleet waited. Ships with names etched into hulls by history: Resolute, Iron Promise, Graveward, Last Light, Stonefall. Each had fought pirates. Rebels. Human wars that never made it into alien history books. Humans had never stopped fighting. Enemy signature detected, said the sensor officer. Multiple contacts. Unknown configuration. On the main screen, space folded. The invaders arrived without ceremony. Their ships were wrong. Not elegant. Not brutal. Just Empty. Massive shapes that bent light around them. No visible weapons. No visible engines. The unified alien fleet moved forward immediately. Energy lances lit space like falling stars. The invaders did not dodge. They absorbed the fire, and kept coming. Shock rippled through alien channels. Direct hits, no effect. Shield harmonics failing. They're inside optimal range already. Captain Ionescu watched silently as the most advanced weapons in the galaxy failed in real time. Then the first alien dreadnought vanished. Not exploded. Not destroyed. Erased. The unified fleet broke formation. Panic replaced confidence. And then, something unexpected happened. The human ships powered up. Not with light. With mass. Heat flooded alien sensors. Gravity spiked. The human fleet's reactors surged far beyond what alien models believed possible. "What are they doing?" demanded Admiral Threx. Captain Ionescu leaned forward. "All ships," she said calmly, "begin phase hammer." The human ships accelerated. Not elegantly. Not smoothly. Violently. They burned forward under crushing force, ignoring stress limits that alien vessels would never survive. Armor screamed. Hulls groaned. Humans had built ships assuming they would be abused. The first kinetic volley fired. No energy. No warning glow. Just metal moving at a fraction of light speed. The invader ship in its path didn't explode. It came apart. Layers peeled away. Internal structures collapsed. Space warped violently around the impact zone. Silence followed. Then chaos. What weapon was that? No energy signature. Shields didn't register impact. Captain Ionescu didn't raise her voice. Reload. The aliens stopped laughing. The invaders slowed. And for the first time since their campaign began, they adjusted formation. Humanity had entered the fight. And the galaxy was about to learn why humans never cared about looking advanced, only about winning. The alien fleet's confidence had shattered, replaced by confusion and fear. Across the bridge of the HSS Resolute, Captain Mara Ionescu calmly observed the chaos unfolding in real time. The invaders and the unified alien fleet alike had underestimated humanity, not just the ships, but the minds behind them. "Admiral Threx is ordering concentrated fire on the lead human vessel," said Commander Jax Holt. His hands hovered over the manual override controls. "They're still treating us like relics." Ionescu's eyes narrowed. Good. Let them make the mistake. In space, the human ships moved like a storm of iron and fire. Their battered hulls gleamed faintly under the light of Sol, their engines blazing with unnatural acceleration. Every turret, every railgun, every missile launcher operated in perfect unison. Not elegant, not flashy, but devastatingly effective. The first salvo hit the alien fleet like a hammer on crystal. Massive Zephyrian dreadnoughts, designed to survive centuries of combat, were shredded as kinetic rods tore through shields that had seemed invincible. Energy weapons failed to even scratch the human armor, instead feeding power into the hidden systems buried deep within the steel hulls. Holt leaned over the console, eyes wide. "They're using our own attacks to charge their reactors. Our plasma bursts are fueling their systems." Ionescu did not reply. She only watched the tactical display, counting the seconds. This was the moment humanity had been preparing for. Every drill, every simulated attack, every scrap of knowledge gained from centuries of war condensed into one precise, controlled action. The alien commanders shouted orders, but their formations collapsed. Their fleet had been built for elegance and distance, but humans thrived in chaos, in unpredictability. The HSS Iron Promise weaved through 3 alien destroyers at once, spinning to present every gun turret while launching nuclear-tipped missiles that twisted and curved around defensive fire. A crystalline Auralese vessel tried to phase out of the attack, but the human torpedoes followed it across dimensions with uncanny precision. On the bridge of the alien flagship Eternal Prism, Supreme Strategist Olerix could not comprehend what he was seeing. Their systems, they shouldn't exist. Nothing in the database predicts this level of efficiency. His voice was tight with fear. One by one, the most advanced ships of the unified fleet were being torn apart. The human ships moved forward relentlessly, trading blows with superior numbers and emerging unscathed. The ugly, scarred hulls of human vessels became instruments of unimaginable destruction. "Captain," said Tactical Officer Lyra Chen of the HSS Stonefall, her fingers flying over the controls, "the enemy is trying to regroup, but our salvo from the graviton cannons just disabled 3 of their cruisers. We have the advantage." Ionescu gave a slight nod. "Good. Keep it steady. Focus on disabling command ships first." The aliens panicked further. Their elegant energy weapons, designed to overwhelm and impress, proved useless. Their own supercomputers couldn't calculate the speed and randomness of human tactics. Each vessel, though individually slower and clunky compared to alien ships, fought with a creativity and ruthlessness that the invaders had never imagined. Somewhere deep in space, the invaders paused, observing humanity's approach. They had expected resistance, but not this. Ships that looked primitive, weapons that seemed outdated, yet here they were, decimating the most advanced fleets the galaxy had to offer. Olerix bellowed orders to retreat, but the humans anticipated every maneuver. The HSS Graveward, despite decades of repairs and aging engines, intercepted a Seraphic cruiser attempting to escape through a high-speed vector. With a single railgun shot, the cruiser's engines were obliterated, sending it tumbling helplessly into a nearby asteroid. "Captain," said Engineer Kalen Royce, monitoring energy levels, "our hull integrity remains at 98% across the fleet. We're taking minimal damage. Their attacks are ineffective." Ionescu allowed herself a small smile. "That's the point, Kalen. Efficiency in offense, resilience in defense. That's humanity's strength." The aliens had underestimated one essential human trait: ingenuity. While their calculations and weapons relied on predictable behavior, humans thrived on unpredictability, improvisation, and relentless adaptation. Every attack was analyzed instantly, every counter measured precisely. Nothing wasted. Nothing left to chance. In the alien command channels, voices quivered. "How is this possible? They're adapting instantly. Our fleets cannot keep up." In the middle of the chaos, Ambassador Elias Ward transmitted a calm message to the alien commanders. "You wanted to judge humanity. Now you see the consequences. Withdraw or join your fleet in defeat." Few listened. Most were too focused on surviving. But a seed of respect, tinged with terror, was planted among those who saw strategy, courage, and discipline intertwined. The HSS Last Light, led by Captain Ionescu herself, bore down on the enemy flagship of the Zeperian Empire. Its massive railguns, previously thought antiquated, now blazed with deadly precision. A single shot tore through the outer armor, exposing sensitive energy conduits. The Zeperian vessel convulsed as internal systems fried. Energy shields collapsed. Chaos spread across their bridge. "Divert power to defensive systems," yelled the Zeperian admiral. It was too late. The humans had already identified vulnerabilities. Every move, every counter, every response was predicted, not by machine intelligence alone, but by humans who understood battle because they lived it, because they had survived wars on barren planets, in asteroid belts, and in vacuum-deep space where failure meant instant death. As explosions lit the darkness, Mara Ionescu watched the alien fleet retreat in disarray. Ships scattered, shields flickering, command structures broken. The unified fleet, proud, ancient, advanced, had been humbled. "Captain," said Holt quietly, "we've done more than defend Sol. We've reminded the galaxy why humans cannot be dismissed." Ionescu's voice was calm, resolute. "This is only the beginning. The galaxy will remember today, not because of our ships' appearances, but because of what we do with them. Humanity fights not for elegance or approval, but for survival, and when survival demands it, we fight like nothing else in the universe." Across the system, the alien forces regrouped, their pride broken, their assumptions shattered. They had mocked humanity, laughed at our relic ships, and now they understood the truth. Humans were not merely survivors, they were strategists, innovators, and warriors in their own right. And any who underestimated that would pay dearly. As the dust settled in the void of Sol, Captain Ionescu turned to her crew, her voice carrying calm authority. This was never about winning a battle. It's about reminding every species in the galaxy that appearances are deceptive, and determination is a weapon stronger than any energy shield. Prepare for the next engagement. Humanity will be ready. The HSS Resolute led the fleet forward. Their battered, unassuming hulls glinted under the distant sun, engines blazing, weapons ready, and crew poised to write a new chapter in galactic history. Because in a universe that had mocked them, humanity had proven one simple truth: never underestimate the relics. The echoes of the defeated alien fleet still lingered across the Sol system, their elegant ships reduced to drifting wreckage. Humanity had won a stunning victory, but there was no time to celebrate. Far beyond the outer colonies, a new threat moved through the void, a fleet unlike anything humans or their recent allies had ever seen. Silent, relentless, and utterly efficient, the invaders were exterminators, machines of war designed to wipe out life itself. On the bridge of the HSS Resolute, Captain Mara Ionescu studied the incoming sensor readings. Her crew worked with precision honed over decades of combat. Long-range scans detect the invaders' fleet entering the Vega corridor, reported Lieutenant Samira Kwan, her fingers dancing across the console. They're moving faster than predicted, and their energy signatures, they're unlike anything we've encountered. Minimal waste, maximal efficiency. Ionescu's eyes narrowed. Minimal waste means they'll hit every target with lethal accuracy. This isn't a traditional engagement. Prepare the fleet for extreme adaptive maneuvers. Divert all non-essential power to shields and weapon systems. If they hit, we hit back harder. The fleet around them, composed of both human ships and the humbled alien survivors, formed a ragged defensive formation. The alien commanders watched in awe and fear as the humans calmly directed their combined forces, coordinating tactics that no AI, no matter how advanced, could anticipate. "Captain," said Torsin, a newly assigned alien liaison from the Auralese Collective, "we've never seen such tactical coordination. Even our algorithms fail to predict your moves." Ionescu gave a faint smile. "Algorithms can't fight intuition, Torsin. They can't feel fear, they can't improvise. Humans can." The invaders struck without warning. Their first attack swept through the corridor like a black storm, concentrated beams of energy tearing apart the front lines. The alien ships, untested against such precision, suffered catastrophic losses almost immediately. But the human ships, those seemingly primitive relics, held their ground. Hulls designed to absorb and redirect energy attacks converted the beams into power, fueling the railguns and missile launchers hidden within. "Energy absorption at 95% efficiency across the fleet," reported engineer Kaelin Royce. "Hull stress levels remain stable. We can continue offensive operations." Ionescu's calm demeanor belied the tension around her. "Good. Begin counteroffensive. Target the lead ships, disable them first, then the rest will scatter." The HSS Iron Resolve led the strike, charging directly into the path of the exterminator fleet. Its guns, long and battered, launched tungsten rods at unimaginable speeds. Nuclear torpedoes followed, twisting mid-flight to strike targets through advanced shields. Every ship in the human fleet followed in disciplined chaos, a storm of unpredictability that the invaders could not compute. "Sir," Lieutenant Kwan reported, "they're attempting to adapt. Shields are shifting dynamically to counter our weapons." Ionescu's eyes glinted. "Adaptation is expected. Let's see how they handle creative solutions." Hidden within the fleet were older human designs, seemingly obsolete. But these relics had secret advantages: weapon systems that combined kinetic, nuclear, and quantum attacks, deployed in patterns no machine could anticipate. Mines that appeared inert exploded with precise timing, drawing enemy vessels into deadly ambushes. Even their engines, old fusion drives upgraded with variable output modules, allowed sudden bursts of speed that the invaders could not predict. Across the battlefield, the alien survivors began to understand humanity's true strength. The warships they had mocked just days ago were not relics, they were instruments of ingenuity, honed by centuries of conflict and tempered by survival. The alien commanders whispered among themselves, or replacing fear. They fight not just with weapons, but with understanding, with experience. Ionescu observed the battle with surgical precision. Every attack was measured, every movement calculated to maximize damage while minimizing risk. Yet it was not cold logic that guided her, it was human adaptability, creativity, and courage. She watched as a squadron of exterminator vessels tried to flank from the Vega Nebula, only to find themselves funneled into the devastating fire of a coordinated ambush by the HSS Shadowbane and HSS Ironclad. "Captain," reported Gunnery Officer Layla Adebayo, "the invaders' flagship has slowed. Their formation is breaking apart. They're recalculating, but we're predicting their next move." Ionescu nodded. "Good. Keep the pressure. Focus on precision strikes. Remember, we're not just fighting them, we're teaching the galaxy why humans survive when others fall." The battle raged for hours, a symphony of fire and metal against the infinite black of space. Human ingenuity continually outpaced alien and invader predictions. Their seemingly primitive ships became the axis of survival and triumph, proving again that innovation, resilience, and cleverness could turn the tide against any adversary. Eventually, the invaders paused, observing the humans' relentless adaptability. Their AI systems could not comprehend the improvisational strategies. Entire divisions, previously thought invincible, now lay in smoldering wreckage. The exterminators, efficient though they were, began to retreat, cautious now of humans who fought not for glory, but for survival, and did so with terrifying competence. "Captain," said Torsin, "you've done what none of our species could. You've forced even these exterminators to hesitate." Ionescu looked out into the void, her face calm but resolute. "Hesitation is all we need. Humanity doesn't just survive. We endure, we adapt, and we strike when it matters most. Prepare to pursue them. They'll learn the cost of underestimating us." The crew, seasoned veterans and fresh recruits alike, worked with quiet precision. This was more than a battle, it was a lesson. Humanity was not a species to be judged by appearances or mocked by tradition. They were warriors, tacticians, and survivors. And the galaxy would soon learn that no fleet, no matter how advanced, could ignore the relentless, ingenious force of human determination. As the HSS Resolute led the fleet into pursuit, the first true sparks of awe and respect ignited among the alien allies. For the first time, they understood the human doctrine: fight with ingenuity, endure the impossible, and never, ever surrender. And humanity had only just begun. The invaders' retreat through the Vega corridor was deceptive. Sensors aboard the HSS Resolute soon detected an anomaly, a massive vessel unlike anything seen before, hidden in the dark shadows of an asteroid belt. Its hull was blacker than void itself, absorbing every scanning attempt. Energy signatures flickered and warped, making it impossible to gauge its true size or capabilities. "Captain Mara Ionescu, we've got something big," said Lieutenant Samira Kwan, tension creeping into her voice. "It's enormous. Energy readings are off the charts. This isn't just another ship. This is a superweapon." Ionescu's jaw tightened. "So much for a retreat. Alert the fleet. All ships, focus on reconnaissance and maintain formation. We can't afford a direct strike, yet." Across the fleet, the alien allies watched in apprehension. Torsin of the Auralese Collective murmured, "We've never seen technology like this. One shot from that vessel could annihilate an entire system." Ionescu's expression remained calm. "That's exactly why we're not going to meet it head-on. Humans fight smart. We'll draw it out, divide its attention, and exploit its weakness. Prepare for adaptive engagement." Meanwhile, in the heart of the asteroid belt, the superweapon awoke. A low hum resonated through space, vibrating sensors and unsettling the alien ships. The invader fleet regrouped around it, forming a protective perimeter. From the black hull, streams of energy began to radiate, preparing for the first devastating volley. The human fleet moved as one, but not predictably. Instead of attacking in formation, they spread across multiple vectors, utilizing debris, asteroids, and abandoned stations for cover. Hidden railguns and missile batteries, previously thought obsolete, were positioned in cunning ambush points. "Captain," reported Gunnery Officer Layla Adebayo aboard the HSS Ironclad, "their first strike is charging. Energy calculations predict a blast that could destroy at least half our formation. Ionescu's eyes narrowed. Then we make them waste it. Full shields, but conserve energy in secondary systems. Let them fire, and when they do, we redirect it. The invader superweapon unleashed its first volley, a concentrated beam of energy that tore through asteroids, vaporizing everything in its path. Human shields absorbed part of it, while hidden systems redirected kinetic energy to power their weapons. A volley of railgun rounds and nuclear missiles immediately followed, targeting the invader fleet's smaller vessels. The sudden strike caused confusion. The invaders had assumed humanity would scatter, but instead, they counterattacked with precision. Torsin watched, astonished. They anticipate every move, every calculation. How is this possible? Ionescu's voice, calm yet commanding, came over the fleet comms. It's not about predicting. It's about adapting. Humans don't fight patterns. We fight possibilities. The battle escalated. The superweapon fired again, this time more accurately, aiming for the largest human ships. The HSS Resolute took the brunt, its shields groaning under pressure. Yet even as the enemy's ultimate power crashed against them, human engineers activated emergency countermeasures. Heat sinks absorbed the energy, rerouting it into secondary power conduits, fueling the fleet's weapons with the enemy's own destructive energy. All batteries charged, Captain. Ready to fire. Royce reported from the engineering deck. Do it, Ionescu said. The human fleet responded as one. Every hidden system, every ancient-looking turret, every railgun and missile launcher unleashed a simultaneous strike. The invader fleet's perimeter vessels were annihilated in a brilliant cascade of destruction. Yet the superweapon remained, its black hull flickering, seemingly unscathed. Focus on its energy nodes, Ionescu commanded. They may have underestimated the ingenuity of human engineering. Divide its attention, target the weak points. The alien allies followed suit, moving cautiously under human direction. The combined human-alien strategy began to take shape, lure the superweapon out of hiding, attack from multiple angles, and overload its energy systems. Using old asteroid mining routes and debris fields, the fleet forced the weapon to track multiple fast-moving targets, stretching its firepower thin. Hours passed. The battle became a test of endurance, tactics, and creativity. The humans, guided by experience and intuition, continued to adapt. They feigned retreat, manipulated the enemy's targeting, and exploited small flaws in the superweapon's defense. Every move was calculated yet unpredictable, a paradox that the invaders could not understand. Finally, after an intense series of coordinated attacks, the weapon began to falter. Energy readings became unstable, shields flickered, and its attacks grew erratic. A concentrated strike from the HSS Shadowbane pierced one of its primary energy nodes, causing a cascading failure across its systems. Direct hit. Shields collapsing. Adebayo shouted. All ships, fire everything. Now! Ionescu commanded. The fleet unleashed a torrent of weapons, kinetic and nuclear, aimed precisely at the superweapon's failing nodes. The black hull erupted in a blinding explosion, scattering fragments across the asteroid belt. The remaining invader vessels, witnessing the destruction of their ultimate asset, began to retreat in disarray. For the first time in the battle, cheers echoed across human comms. Yet Ionescu remained vigilant. Stay alert. They may regroup. Pursue cautiously, but maintain formation. Remember, we win by outthinking, not just overpowering. Torsin, now fully awed, turned to his crew. Human tactics, their ability to adapt under pressure, it's unlike anything we've witnessed. They are not only survivors, they are masters of war by intellect and ingenuity. The human fleet, battered but intact, began regrouping. Every ship bore scars of battle, every crew member exhausted yet determined. The invaders had learned a harsh lesson. No superweapon, no overwhelming fleet, could outmatch the creativity, resilience, and tactical brilliance of humanity. As the fleet moved forward, Ionescu looked out into the void, her eyes reflecting the scattered lights of the asteroid belt. "This is just the beginning," she murmured. "They will learn that humans don't fight for glory. We fight to survive." And we adapt. Always. Humanity had turned the tide once again, not with elegance or advanced energy weapons, but with resilience, creativity, and the relentless determination that defined their species. Across the galaxy, stories of the human fleet's victory would begin to spread, inspiring awe, fear, and respect in equal measure. And somewhere in the dark corners of space, the invaders recalculated their approach, realizing they had underestimated a force that could never be predicted, only respected. The war was far from over. But one truth had already become clear: humanity would never be defeated, and the galaxy would remember why. The remnants of the alien fleet limped away from the Vega corridor, their formations fractured and morale shattered. But beyond the known galaxy, a larger threat loomed: the exterminators. Entire star systems had already fallen to their relentless campaign, and their massive, black ships moved with cold precision, leaving nothing alive in their wake. Humanity, now allied with once skeptical galactic races, knew that a head-on confrontation would be suicidal. Victory would require not just firepower, but cunning, the kind of strategy that only humans could devise under pressure. Captain Mara Ionescu stood on the bridge of the HSS Resolute, staring at the tactical display. Across the holographic map, red blips indicated exterminator ships, moving methodically through uncharted systems. Human and alien forces were still organizing, but she had an idea, a plan that relied on unpredictability, improvisation, and the kind of ingenuity the exterminators could never anticipate. Lieutenant Quan, bring me the energy signatures of the nearest 2 exterminator vessels. We'll use them as bait. Bait? Captain? Samira asked, raising an eyebrow. Exactly, Ionescu replied calmly. They're expecting direct combat. We're going to make them think they've cornered a small, isolated human fleet. Then we hit them where it hurts. Across the fleet, crews prepared for their most dangerous mission yet. The HSS Ironclad, Shadowbane, and several other human ships, along with alien vessels trained under human tactics, moved quietly through asteroid fields and nebulae, masking their energy signatures. Every vessel was a trap, every seemingly vulnerable ship a potential spearhead for devastation. As the exterminators approached, their massive black hulls reflecting starlight, they detected the human fleet, seemingly scattered and weak. Finally, intoned the lead exterminator ship, its AI-generated voice cold and precise. We will extinguish these humans, along with any who follow them. But the humans were ready. Ionescu gave the order: deploy drones. Activate decoy signals. Let them think we're fleeing. Tiny probes zipped ahead of the fleet, creating phantom energy signatures that mimicked the presence of dozens of ships. The exterminators, calculating from their data, adjusted their trajectory, closing in on what they thought was an isolated human group. Captain, they're taking the bait, reported Tactical Officer Rillan, excitement clear in his voice. They're diverting all firepower toward our decoys. Good, Ionescu said. Now comes the hard part. From hidden positions in asteroid belts and deep nebulae, the human and allied fleets sprang their trap. Kinetic weapons, railguns, and missiles fired from angles the exterminators had no sensors to detect. The black ships were hit simultaneously from multiple vectors, their shields overloaded by energy absorbed from previous attacks. Explosions blossomed like stars across space, illuminating the dark void. The exterminators recalculated, but it was too late. Human tactics were unpredictable. Every movement, every strike, exploited the tiniest weaknesses in their formations. Ships designed to annihilate entire civilizations were now vulnerable, flanked by machines they could not anticipate and pilots with creativity far beyond any AI. Admiral Torsin of the Auralese Collective, observing from his flagship, muttered in disbelief, "Their precision, their intuition, it's beyond computation. Humans don't just fight, they innovate." The exterminators retaliated, unleashing massive energy waves and subspace disruptions. But humans had planned for that. The HSS Resolute initiated adaptive shielding protocols, channeling energy from attacks to power weapons and engines simultaneously. Hidden turrets emerged from previously concealed compartments, firing with deadly accuracy. Every shot was calculated to cripple, not just damage, ensuring maximum effect with minimal risk. Hours passed in a brutal dance of destruction and strategy. The exterminator superweapon, a vessel even larger than the black ships before, finally emerged. Its energy core glowed with lethal brilliance, capable of obliterating planets. Yet, for all its destructive potential, it could not match human ingenuity. Ionescu devised a daring plan, a coordinated feint. The HSS Shadowbane and Ironclad would draw the superweapon's fire, while smaller, faster human and alien vessels navigated through blind spots to target its core reactors directly. Every officer knew the stakes. Failure meant the destruction of entire star systems. But they trusted their captain and the human way of thinking. The superweapon fired, a beam so powerful it disintegrated asteroids in its path. The Shadowbane's shields groaned under the strain, yet it continued its course, leading the enemy where Ionescu wanted. At the same moment, a squadron of nimble human fighters darted through its blind zones, guided by the HSS Resolute's AI-assisted targeting. Missiles, rail rounds, and EMP pulses struck the core simultaneously. A deafening explosion engulfed the superweapon. It fractured, its energy output collapsing in on itself. The remaining exterminator fleet, now leaderless and confused, attempted retreat, but the human fleet was relentless. They pursued with coordinated precision, dismantling every ship that could be caught, using both brute force and tactical brilliance. When the battle finally ended, the galaxy was silent. The exterminators had been defeated. Humanity and its allies had turned near-certain extinction into a triumph of intellect, teamwork, and resilience. Not a single human ship had been destroyed, though many bore scars of combat, a testament to their durability and the skill of their crews. Captain Ionescu stood on the bridge of the Resolute, looking out at the field of wreckage. Across the galaxy, civilizations once skeptical of humanity now recognized a harsh truth. The oldest, most primitive species had fought the impossible and won. Torsin approached her, eyes wide with respect. "Captain, your species, it is remarkable. You have shown us the true power of ingenuity, courage, and unity. We will never doubt humans again." Ionescu smiled, not triumphantly, but with quiet resolve. "We don't fight for glory. We fight to survive, to protect, and to create a future worth living for. That's what makes humans, human." The fleet moved forward, battered but undefeated, ready to secure the galaxy and ensure that no force, alien, artificial, or otherwise, would ever underestimate humanity again. Across countless star systems, messages of awe and hope spread. Humanity's story, a saga of resilience, creativity, and indomitable spirit, became legend. And somewhere in the dark reaches of space, remnants of the exterminator forces reconsidered everything they thought they knew about war, power, and the species they had underestimated. One lesson was clear: humans were unpredictable, relentless, and capable of turning hopeless situations into triumphs. The galaxy had been changed forever. Humans had not only survived, they had inspired, taught, and conquered through brilliance, courage, and determination. And the HFY legacy, the proof that humanity could rise above impossible odds, would echo across the stars for generations to come.